In schools, we were taught that the reason for the South wanting to secede from the North was because they wanted to hold on to their slaves. Now, that's not entirely true. A little bit of that, yeah, is true, but not entirely. What if you found out that the main reason for the South wanting to secede from the North was because the North was being deceptive and not honoring them in the Constitution? Check this out.
The reason why it was a problem that Marxist ideas were beginning to set in was that those ideals were not reminiscent of Western tradition or Christian tradition. In fact, the ideals sought to completely overthrow those values in a time where our politics were already fractured. This, in tandem with the existence of Southern slavery, which up until that point existed all over the world, created the opportunity for Marxist ideals to play a subversive role, especially in our Congress, when it came to the forming of our country. By the mid-19th century, things were coming to a head in Congress as politicians were becoming more and more radicalized, insisting on expanding the role of the federal government. And because of this, the South was threatening on numerous occasions to secede from the Union. And finally, after the election of Abraham Lincoln, they did just that.
Many people believe that the purpose of the Civil War was for freeing the slaves. But what if you found out that prior to the Civil War, prior to the 13th Amendment, there was a different amendment that was written up, that was passed through Congress, as well as Abe Lincoln, to legalize, or should I say to keep slavery legal in the southern states. And Abraham Lincoln agreed to it. Check this out.
Prior to the outbreak of the Civil War, this idea in 1861 was brought forth by Thomas Kirwan. This would have legalized slavery throughout the Union with the passage of a new amendment. It's known to history as the Kirwan Amendment. This almost became the 13th Amendment. Now, it didn't get passed, but the Republican-dominated legislature and Abraham Lincoln himself is said to have been on board with the passage of the amendment. And this was, of course, meant to divert the impending conflict between North and South. But the South rejected the Kirwan Amendment because it wasn't just about the right to keep their slaves, because they didn't want to keep them in perpetuity any more than the North kept their slaves in perpetuity. They just wanted to do it in the same manner in which the North was allowed to do it. Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederate States of America, like General Robert E. Lee, did not believe in the institution of slavery, but they also didn't believe that those who they believed were not fit or ready for freedom should just be let loose, so to speak, out into society.
Now, comes up the question of what we Southern soldiers fought for. The South did not fight for the preservation or extension of slavery. Now, friends, it was a great curse on this country that we had slavery. And I thank God that I did not bring up my boys and girls under a system of slavery under which I was brought under. What did you boys fight for then? For states' rights.